Welcome back to Expediting Change live at the CBCF. I'm so happy, so proud that you are all here with me and that we have another episode here. We're going to continue to have fun today. I brought the big guns out for this one, though. This one is going to be a good conversation, but I'm not going to just jump right into the conversation because I've been hearing y'all feedback about, hey, Shamari, let your guests introduce themselves. This is not just your show. You're interviewing people. You're absolutely right. So we're going to start with some introductions. What's good?
Right. I am doing well, Shamari. Thank you for having me.
For sure. What's your name? Where you from? What you do? How are you?
All right. That's how we're starting it. My name is Tashni Ann Dubroy, and I am the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer at Howard University. I have been there now for 7 years. I've had a very eclectic career. Varied in terms of my experience in higher education,
No doubt.
In entrepreneurship,
For sure.
in industry.
Sure.
And so I bring all of my experiences, lived experiences, to the position that I now hold today.
Woo, Black girl magic. You hear that? While we're at CBCF and we have our first Black female president running. So this is right on time. And a bison. And an AKA, I hear, but are you an AKA? You're an AKA?
I am not in a sorority.
Okay, me neither.
Okay.
I am. I'm in Mari Phi Mari. So let's talk about it. You said eclectic.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. What you mean by eclectic?
Well, the thing is, if you don't know it already, this funny accent is from Jamaica. Eddie Murphy said it best. Jamaica's got 10 jobs. It's true. And so I was the kid that a lot of people used to tell, you got to focus on one thing. And over the years, I realized that was not true.
For sure.
Because I had multiple interests.
For sure.
I had multiple areas of strength.
Yep.
And I recognized that I did not have to focus on one thing because I didn't want others to limit my potential.
For sure. Absolutely.
Maybe you had to focus on one thing,
That's right.
but Tashni could focus on multiple things at once and excel at them.
Love that.
And so throughout my career, I've realized that I can pursue my academic interests while pursuing my entrepreneurial dreams.
Absolutely.
And I was able to do that in a myriad of ways.
Yep.
I came to this country when I was about 17 years old.
Okay.
From high school, I went to college here.
Yeah.
And I would say that I've always been an entrepreneur.
No doubt.
I was a kid who would take excess plastic from the plastic factory.
Yeah.
And this was before we had pom-poms that were manufactured. Absolutely.
Okay, that's
the excess plastic, the refuse that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
And I would make pom-poms out of them and sell them to my peers.
Wow.
And that was, so no lemonade stands per se.
But you were hustling regardless, legally. Just getting to the bag.
Absolutely. And that was at Sports Day.
Yeah.
Before bottled water,
yeah,
I would sell cups of water.
Nice.
Because ice cold water was certainly a premium. Back home.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's that entrepreneurial spirit that was cultivated at that time. I just knew it as hustle.
Absolutely.
And
everybody's not a hustler.
Absolutely.
And hustling don't mean selling drugs. You know what I mean? Hustling,
even.
right? You know what I mean?
And
people confuse
the irony of it is, I'm a chemist, but I still don't sell.
No
okay.
doubt. You said you could if you wanted to, because you know how, but you choose not to. That's a bet.
I'm on the good side of history.
For sure.
But I got my undergraduate degree in chemistry from Shaw University.
Okay.
And my PhD in physical organic chemistry from NC State.
Okay.
And my MBA in finance and marketing from Rutgers University.
Smart. She's smart.
And so it's less per se about the degrees, but what the skills that I was able to acquire over the years. And I used the skills from all of those degrees very wisely.
No doubt.
In terms of chemistry,
yep.
I started in a chemical industry after I graduated from grad school at a chemical company called BASF.
Okay.
I think corporate was an outstanding entree into entrepreneurship because it taught me discipline and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
It taught me a lingo that I still retain today.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons I went back to grad school, to business school, because I realized I had a deficit.
Yeah.
I was sitting in rooms with corporate professionals, VPs, CEOs, etc. And I remember feeling that I wasn't being heard.
No doubt.
I was at the table. I wanted to say something because I wanted to give my opinion about the topic,
Yep.
and nobody was listening to me.
Mm.
And I remember thinking about all of the isms.
Yep.
Was it racism, sexism, ageism?
Absolutely.
And I had to be introspective.
Yep.
I realized that in this case, I didn't speak the language.
Ooh.
And so I tried to raise my hand to speak. They would ignore me.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to talk over the men in the room because that's what it was. And they would ignore me. So I went back to business school. And it was then that I started to learn about the contribution margin,
Absolutely.
the balance sheet, the profit and loss
Absolutely.
statement, income
Love it.
statement,
That lingo.
oh my gosh,
Yep.
value proposition,
Absolutely.
all of the terms that
Absolutely.
you're not going to necessarily learn when you're pursuing a PhD in
For
chemistry.
sure. Absolutely.
And so I went back into that boardroom, and now I spoke with confidence.
Lift their ass up.
Because I was now learning the latest information about what was happening in the industry and case studies, etc. So I felt much more confident when I spoke, and now the men in the room started listening.
So actually, I love what you said, and I want to underscore it as well, because a lot of people nowadays are like only being an entrepreneur, but you kind of said, as you were on your entrepreneurship journey, you actually learned some things going to work for somebody else.
Absolutely.
So it was valuable for time and space and moment.
Yep.
And then even to compound it, you went and was like, okay, I need to go get some more lingo.
That's correct.
So then with that said, what does entrepreneur mean to you? Like, what does it mean to be an entrepreneur to you?
So I think there are ways for you to be entrepreneurial within a company.
For sure.
For me, I took the entrepreneurial route and went and started my own hair care company along with a business partner of mine. But I'll tell you a mistake that I made.
Okay.
I started my hair care company while working at BASF.
Okay.
Some nosy person
heard
about it and told HR.
Yeah.
And I had not disclosed it.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they gave me an ultimatum. They said, Tashni, you've got to divest of this company and stay at BASF, or you can leave. I was a new mom at the time, newlywed, and I was making six figures, and I said, you know what, I'm going to stay with BASF.
No doubt.
So I told them I would stay.
Yeah.
It was a VP of my division who normally does not do one-on-ones with anybody at my level.
Yeah.
But she brought me in, and she was very kind.
Yeah.
And in a very calm and mature manner, she discussed the options with me.
Yeah.
I said I understood, and I told her I wanted to stay with the company because I was thinking about the money and my family's well-being. I went home that night. I could not sleep. My stomach churned, and I knew I had made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And usually I don't renege on the decisions that I make, but I went back the next day and I said, I am so sorry.
Respect.
But I'm going to take the risk while I'm young.
For sure.
But by that time, I had already set up the company in a manner that I knew it was on a trajectory to be successful.
For sure.
So very soon we were talking to Damon John.
Nice.
We were talking to Macy's in their supplier diversity program. And I'll never forget, it was very interesting lessons to learn over time because we were selling our wares to Macy's. And they said to us, your packaging is terrible. If you want to be in Macy's, you got to have a different type of packaging.
Gotta be sexy, gotta look good.
Gotta be elite.
No doubt.
And we were like, that's disrespectful, because I mean, I've had taste for a very long time.
No doubt. Like, who you talking to? You see how I'm dressed? What?
My packaging looks fantastic. But we were making an error.
Yeah.
We were not customer centric. We were thinking that because Tiffany, my business partner, and I, who's a Hamptonian, we were Black women, and that's the audience we were catering to. We would just run it by each other.
No doubt.
Instead of doing a focus group and form a formal setup. So we went back to the drawing board, started doing focus groups like they would do in any industry. And the women told us the same thing. This definitely could be in a beauty supply store, but not in Macy's.
Right.
But a part of that conversation, I remember we asked, the facilitator asked the women, where do you buy your shampoo? Not a single one of them said Macy's.
So I don't need to be in Macy's. I don't need to change my packaging.
We were so focused on Macy's because for us, that was
The big
our
ticket.
North Star.
No doubt.
And we felt as if we were on 34th Street in New York City,
No
Herald
doubt.
Square,
No
that
doubt.
would be,
No doubt.
you know,
The
a
it.
statement for us.
Absolutely.
Not thinking beyond the first order.
No doubt.
What if Macy's put us on and said, you know what? Let's distribute. Number one, who's gonna buy it there?
Right.
Because that's not where our demographic is shopping.
Absolutely.
And number two, what are you gonna do if they buy it and Macy's said we need much more?
Absolutely.
So those were the lessons that we learned along
sure.
the way. It turns out that e-commerce was our most significant channel,
That's dope.
and that was prior to Amazon.
I was about to say, was
It
it
was
Amazon
prior
at
to,
this
it
point?
was in its nascent phase
Yeah.
when, you know, Amazon wasn't necessarily a mainstay
For sure.
for
For sure.
consumer products.
Absolutely.
So while I was doing the hair care company, I decided I wanted to give back to my alma mater, Shaw University.
Yep.
I went back to Shaw to become an adjunct professor
Yep.
while doing hair care, and Shaw asked me to come on board full time.
Okay.
They kept on promoting me.
So wait, were you still doing the hair care company?
Absolutely. They
Did you
gave me all
disclose
the
it this
flexibility.
time?
I disclosed
Did you
it this
disclose
time.
it? All right,
Full
all right,
disclosure.
all right, all right.
Full
Well, let
disclosure.
all y'all know. Let everybody know. All right, all right.
I'm a business owner.
No doubt.
And they had no problem with that.
Dope.
They wanted me to introduce entrepreneurship and chemistry
Dope.
to our students.
For
And
sure.
so that was a beautiful journey for me.
For sure.
But they kept on promoting me.
Nice.
So instead of hiring me as an adjunct, they hired me as a full-time professor.
Okay.
And it was still very flexible, still was able to run the company.
Yep.
Within 3 months, they said, will you be the department chair of the natural sciences and math department, mathematics, biology, physics, environmental science, and chemistry?
What'd you say? What that check look like? And can I sell my product? Can I set up a booth in the back of my classroom? What that check look like?
I didn't know what a department chair did.
No
I'll
doubt.
be honest with you. When I was in college, I didn't interact with my department chair
Never.
a lot.
Never.
And so didn't know what the job entailed. But because I wanted to help, I said, sure.
Yep.
It was baptism by fire.
Oh.
It took a lot of work.
Yeah.
And after I was department chair for maybe 2 years, I was asked to serve as special assistant to the president for
Okay.
process optimization.
Nice.
But that title was one that I helped create because I had done process optimization in corporate.
No doubt.
And
Wait, so good for
go ahead.
explain process optimization for folks.
So
that-
I know this
I'm
is your
getting
mainstay
woo, woo.
engineer. So in terms of process optimization, it's the way that you break down processes to their simplest forms to make them more efficient. You build them, rebuild them to make them efficient and cost
For
effective.
sure.
And so it was a matter of looking at the university's processes, seeing what it is that we could do to improve efficiency and effectiveness
Yep.
and help people's lives to be better.
Absolutely.
Get out of doing manual paper processing
Absolutely.
and move to digital.
Absolutely.
And we were able to do that. And within that time, the position for presidency opened up at Shaw.
And you're senior advisor to the president.
That's correct.
Okay.
And when it opened up, I remember by this time I had seen the position.
Yeah.
The president I was serving was an interim president.
Yep.
And he was also applying for the job. I remember turning to my sister. And
Yeah.
so this is a lesson in family
Yeah.
and haters.
Oh man.
I turned
Family
to-
and haters, and then sometimes both. All right, that's a
The
bet.
Venn diagram.
No doubt. Absolutely.
I remember turning to my sister. She's 8 years my senior.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, the position of presidency at Shaw has
Yeah.
opened up. And I think I should apply to it. I want to apply
Yeah.
to it. And she said, girl, they ain't going to give you their presidency.
Oh no, we got to speak life. We got to speak life.
Well, the reason she was saying that is because all she saw in me was her
Yeah.
little sister.
Absolutely.
So it didn't matter that I was
Absolutely. Climbing up the
an
ranks.
experienced
Yep.
professional. It didn't matter that I had the degrees that I needed
Absolutely.
in order to validate
Absolutely.
my application.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter that I had the lived experiences, that I
Absolutely.
actually was in control of paying people
Yep.
on a regular
No
basis.
doubt.
To her, she just saw her younger sister.
Well, and had they ever had a black female
They
president?
had a black female
Okay.
president,
Okay, that's good.
but none that was as young as I was.
Okay.
I applied for the presidency, and while there, I remember there was one occasion when we were doing the steps that it
Yeah.
took in order to be competitive
Yeah.
in a competitive set. And an older Black gentleman came up to me and he said, "You know what you need?" And I said, "No, sir. What do I need?" He said, "You need some Hillary pants and some pearls."
Oh no.
So I thought,
no.
the audacity.
Yo, you must got the patience of a saint, because I would have been done at that point.
I have control over my emotions.
Man,
I got a poker face.
I need to learn that from you.
And I remember thinking to myself, how rude.
Yeah.
But I went home and I thought, who's going to be in the room?
Yeah.
And to be honest, it would be a room
Yep.
of conservative
Yep.
males.
Yep.
And I said, you know what, Tashni? Get the pants and pearls so that they will remove your clothing out of their minds.
Absolutely.
As you contend for the
Absolutely.
position.
Don't be too fly for them.
And they will listen to the words coming out of your mouth.
Absolutely.
I wish I had taken a photo on that day because I cut my hair. It was the shortest bob hairstyle ever.
Yeah.
And I look old as ever.
When they looking like Hillary.
As old as I could possibly look.
No doubt.
And I had on my navy suit, my pearls, etc. And
wait, did you already have pearls or did you have to go buy some?
That's my pearls.
Okay, all right.
And they were fake. Just being real.
Fake it until we make it. Fake it until we make it.
Because I don't like pearls.
No, I don't know about pearls either.
And so I ended up doing the interview, nailed it, and I became president of my alma mater at 34 years old.
At 34 years old.
Absolutely.
That's the positive progression of the culture right there. That is crazy. So now you're president.
Yes.
Did you have to disclose again, or what we do? What about the company now?
So now they said I needed to divest of the company. By this time I had amassed a hair care company from a production perspective.
Yeah.
A hair salon. I'd never do that again, but it was beautiful. And it was also a nonprofit called the Brilliant and Beautiful Foundation because we were helping young girls to be successful in the sciences. We wanted to encourage young middle schoolers especially.
Yeah.
And we would bring in graduate students from AWIS and get them to mentor young girls.
Yep.
And we have some of those girls now who are in grad school, graduated. It's amazing to observe. But I had to divest of it because they wanted me to focus on the presidency.
How did it feel taking this job as president, which had to feel great?
Yes.
But divesting in something that you built blood, sweat, and tears.
It was certainly mixed emotions.
Yeah.
But one of the beautiful things about it that I learned in business school was you've got to have your exit strategy.
Absolutely.
Prior to even starting.
Absolutely.
You've got to know, is this a long-term business?
Absolutely.
Is it short-term, mid? And we had already decided that we wanted to be acquired.
No doubt.
And so we were building the business for that.
Sale. No doubt.
So when we sold, we retained brand rights and naming rights and sold our formulation.
Nice. I want to underscore that though right there for the folks listening that you just said, as you go into business, when you're thinking about your business and what you're going to do with your business and how profitable it is going to be, also be thinking about your exit strategy.
Absolutely.
That's key. Okay.
Because you got to know what's tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like?
Absolutely.
So if you want to build a legacy building business and you're doing this for your family and you want somebody else to inherit it, then you got to have a succession strategy.
Absolutely.
You got to involve the kids at a very young age because they have to build affinity for the brand, affinity for the process. You have to know the temperament of your children.
Absolutely.
Some children, you introduce it to them too young and they get tired of it and they're like, I never.
Absolutely.
Some children, you show them the tough side of the business and they're like, you look stressed.
Yeah. I'm never doing that.
Right.
Right.
And so they say, no, I don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
A lot of medical doctors, a lot of financiers, they see, or their children see them work so hard. They're like, I don't want that.
For sure. Like, I want no parts of it.
So we knew what we wanted and we were able to play towards that. So by the time I became president, it was 5 years from me starting at Shaw to
5 years.
Yes.
Starting out as adjunct.
That's right.
Did you write a book yet?
No.
You write a book so I can buy it? I get the first signed copy though. I gotta get the first signed copy. I got a question about your experience. That 5 years and that trajectory was extremely fast. and cumbersome.
Mhm.
How did you balance what you were doing with your own business and that trajectory moving so fast?
Well, I'll give you some cherries on top of that.
Okay, that's a bet.
So remember, I'm a new parent.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm a newish wife.
Yeah,
And so I'm juggling all
all of
kinds
that.
of
Absolutely.
responsibilities. But my daughter, she was born in New Jersey
Hmm.
in '09. And
That's
when
good. I
she
never remember my kids. They like March, January, somewhere, something like that.
when she was born, by the time she was 7 months old, we were on the road.
Nice.
We were at the Bronner Brothers show in Atlanta,
Yeah,
selling hair care products.
yeah.
She was part of the business,
Hustling,
and my business
grinding.
partner had a 6-month-old,
Yeah.
and we were doing that.
No
And
doubt.
our husbands were very supportive
For sure.
at that time, and so it became part of our DNA.
Yeah.
When I went to Shaw, and I had to teach
Hmm.
up until noon,
Hmm.
pick her up from daycare by 12:30,
Mhm.
bring her back to campus so I
Mhm.
could put her under my desk with her blankies and
Yeah.
everything. And by 2 o'clock, I was in my organic chemistry class.
No doubt.
So she would sleep between the time,
No
the
doubt.
1 hour that Orgo took.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of that.
Yeah.
So she grew up on an HBCU campus.
No doubt.
And
That grind, though. So take this recording and play that back for the people who see you now
yes.
and then want to judge you based off of where you are now,
know.
not knowing your story.
Oh,
not
absolutely.
knowing it. You know
It
what I
was
mean?
tough.
No doubt.
It was not easy because I'm still the person who comes home, I cook.
Yeah.
You know, my husband knows how to cook one meal, and it
Oh, man.
was chicken parmesan.
Okay, that's a good
But
dish
he,
to
but
make.
he did it
It's a
well.
good dish to
I
make.
mean,
My
fantastic.
daughter makes that. I gotta shout you out, baby girl. Shari, you still make chicken parm the best.
And I also gave him grace.
No doubt.
Taught him how to comb hair
No doubt.
because there were times I had to travel, so
No
he
doubt.
knows how to comb her hair.
No doubt.
So all these Insta daddies that you see
Yeah,
now
no doubt.
combing black girls' hair,
No doubt.
he knew that a long time.
No doubt. He was already ready to rock.
Oh, absolutely.
Could have taught those videos.
For sure. And I made a point that if he combed her hair and it didn't look good,
Yeah.
I always said, "Oh no, oh it looks so good."
No doubt.
I did not
It's still
criticize
confidence.
it.
It's still that confidence.
I'd be on a business trip. He FaceTime with me. My child looked like she crazy. Purple sock, pink sock, didn't matter because that's when I was like, "Oh baby, you're
Good
too
job.
cute,
Oh,
too cute." I'll be home soon.
No doubt.
Right?
To change it up.
Didn't do a thing. As she got older and she realized, okay, daddy's hairstyle looks a little
Much
bit
different than mommy's hairstyle. Let's put these photos here and then show everybody else these photos.
But for the time when we needed it,
Yeah,
God granted us what we needed.
no doubt. Absolutely. I love that. Absolutely love that. So now you're Shaw president,
Yes.
but you have this super long big boss title at the Howard University.
Absolutely.
So how do we get from Shaw to Howard?
So in around 2016,
Okay.
some of you may remember Donald Trump was president,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
the HBCU presidents were invited to go to the White House.
Yeah.
If you look in that photo, you will not see me
Really?
because I wear heels every day.
No doubt.
On that day,
You wear
I
flats?
said, absolutely not.
Somebody gonna be standing in front of you. You will not get this documented. We'll not get this
Y'all
documented.
not about to roast me on my campus.
Absolutely.
But I was truthful with the campus.
No
I
doubt.
brought in a subsection of the population and I said, listen, Dubroy got to go
Yeah,
to the White House.
for sure.
Right? Regardless of the party that is in power,
No doubt.
we have to ensure that we are making friends with everybody.
Absolutely.
And there are some bipartisan leadership councils and partnerships that we have
Yeah.
that are fruitful
Yeah.
for our university.
Yeah.
And so I had to make sure that I represented for my university,
Yeah.
regardless of what my private
Absolutely.
political affiliation.
Absolutely. Which is a tough thing to do, but
That's correct.
that's the entrepreneur spirit in you as well.
For sure. And so we went, and there is when I met quite a few additional HBC presidents, including Dr. Frederick.
Yeah.
And he had invited a few of us to his home.
Yeah.
We got to know him a little better. And as he continued to face challenges on his campus,
Yeah.
I remember I would reach out to him and hey, hang in there,
Yep.
And on one occasion, when I reached out, he said, I have a position for a COO that's open,
Yep.
and I would love you to come and serve as its chief operating officer.
Nice.
If you're interested.
Nice.
I was like, it sounds great, but I am 2 years into my presidency,
Yeah.
and I've got so much that I started
sure.
that I want to finish.
Absolutely.
So, no, thank you.
No doubt.
After I said that cordially to him, I called my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Daddy, this Trinidadian president.
Want me to
Because
leave
y'all
my
may not
post?
know this, but the Caribbean, we got a lot of factions in the Caribbean.
okay.
Trinidadians and Jamaicans don't like each other.
Oh, I didn't know that. Learn something new, expediting change. I did not know
So
that.
I'm like, this Trinidadian man, this Trini man, talking about I should come to
Work for
Howard to work for him. I was like, first of all, he's from Trinidad. Second of all, I don't want to work for a man
Oh,
anymore.
man, you're like, nah, not it. Not it.
But I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
Wayne Frederick is in a class by himself.
absolutely. Amazing guy.
He is outstanding.
Absolutely.
And I know what I bring to the table.
Yep.
And as I continued to speak to him, it was very obvious to me
Yep.
that he had a level of genius
Yeah.
that comes around infrequently.
Absolutely.
And so I thought about it, and he added the title Executive Vice President.
Yep.
And we also spoke about creating models of excellence in executive leadership
Absolutely.
for other HBCUs. to follow.
Absolutely.
And so that to me was a more valuable proposition
Yep.
than simply coming to work as somebody's COO.
Absolutely.
And so when I got there, I met up on vice presidents who were exceptional.
Yep.
They, in their fields, they knew they could compete with any PWI, any
Yep.
corporate entity.
Yep.
And I saw the weaknesses in various levels of the university strata.
Yep.
And so I recognized how I could contribute. Because coming from a small school, I'm like, okay, Howard has their stuff together. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But not realizing there
Yeah.
were challenges. So by the time
Absolutely.
I got on campus, I recognized, oh, okay.
Just a few challenges, just a couple. But wait, though. So it was originally COO,
Yes,
and then you negotiated executive vice president.
that's right.
No, I'm not playing these games with you at all, bro. Let's go. Okay,
Yes,
so
because,
now you.
I mean, when you're leaving a college presidency,
Yeah.
because people criticize me for that. I don't listen to what others say.
Absolutely.
I'm not easily thwarted by other people's
Absolutely.
opinions. And when I say I don't listen, I mean your negativity doesn't faze me.
Absolutely.
Can I listen to constructive criticism?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But not one that is simply born out of, I can't believe she left the presidency
Absolutely.
for a vice president.
Absolutely.
That's not part
Absolutely.
of how I operate.
You also can't believe you probably need a haircut, or what are you doing in your job? Because people we just talked about a family hater. That's that.
Yes, exactly.
That's that hater piece.
So that doesn't faze me. So I knew I had a job to do.
No doubt.
And we've been able as a team to transform Howard University.
Absolutely.
You were part of that strategy.
I might have been
I
a
think
little
you
bit.
were one of my first friends.
I think so. I was like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I don't mean you. I'm sorry. Can we talk? Because you said process optimization. I need
That's
to
right.
holler at you.
Exactly. So you were part of the first friends, Derek Niece Williams, Lawrence
Yep.
in HR. But I felt the Howard family embraced me
For sure.
on day one.
For sure.
And so it's felt so good
Yeah.
because I love my Shaw University family, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was leaving
Yeah.
and what would meet me at Howard.
Yeah.
And so for me to have this type of experience, to still be passionate about what I do
Mm-hmm.
and to still want to do it every single day, I feel blessed to have that experience.
So how is it? Because I imagine,
Yes.
I can only assume that Shaw was obviously a very high level,
Yes.
but Howard University comes with its own challenges and opportunities
Absolutely.
for improvement. So how is that juggled now for you?
It was tough to transition
Yeah.
because presidency is very different from a vice president.
No doubt.
I remember, number one, you don't have a driver anymore. Okay.
No doubt. No doubt.
And I'm being facetious, but it's real.
No, it is
It's
real.
part of the shedding that you have to do.
Yeah.
And when the president says, "Get this done,"
You gotta get it
I'm
done.
like, "Who's gonna do it?" Like,
I like, who are you talking to? You're not talking to me, are you? Like, wait, hold up. Oh, I'm VP. Okay, hold up. Give me a minute.
So you gotta quickly acclimate, and it took a little while.
Yeah.
Nobody knew I was struggling,
Yeah.
but internally I had to now remember. Oh, okay, this is what I got to
No
do,
doubt.
right? And I've got to pick that up. And so, even in areas where I didn't have support because some positions just didn't exist on my team, and I had to create them over time.
No doubt.
But I was able to do that because I understood the university through an executive lens, a very unique lens that very few have the opportunity to experience. So nobody had to tell me what to do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's also what Dr. Frederick appreciated, because if he mentioned something that needs to be executed, I knew all the steps to take.
And how to get it done.
Absolutely. And I will tell you that I pride myself on being a fast walker.
No doubt.
When I emigrated to this country, I came to New York first.
Yeah.
So I got that New Yorker in me.
No doubt. No
and
doubt.
I walk faster than most.
No
in
doubt.
hills.
No, in hill, not in hills.
And
you walk up the hill.
That's correct.
In hills.
I met up on Dr. Frederick. That man walked faster than me.
Yeah,
I said, oh, absolutely not.
My knee was hurt one time when I was walking with him. He was like, what's wrong? I was like, my knee hurt, Bob. My knee hurt.
So I had to pick up my pace.
Yeah.
And I literally had to strategize and say, what am I going to do to make sure that my boss doesn't have to ask me to do it?
Absolutely.
So for the first few weeks, months, he had to say, Dubroy, ensure that this gets done or something like that, because of course I don't know the lay of the land. But very soon I was able to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here are the ideas that I have. And the rest is history.
That's dope. So then what about that entrepreneurial spirit?
Oh, that doesn't that.
Okay. Talk about it.
I got to use it over the past 7 years within Howard.
Yep.
I was grateful to be working for somebody who was not intimidated by my leadership.
Ooh, say that again. Say that again.
He was very supportive, especially of women.
Yep.
When Dr. Frederick got to Howard, there were 13 deans at that time.
Yep.
I think 10 of whom were male.
Yep.
By the time he finished, there were 7 that were women.
Absolutely.
And 6 males.
Absolutely.
And at times the ratio even exceeded that. Thing is, it's not just about having women representation, but for Howard, we have a 75% women student population.
Absolutely.
And the leadership was no reflective of that.
Absolutely.
And women could see that they had an opportunity to serve in various executive
Talk about breaking a glass ceiling.
That's correct.
I want you to touch a little bit more on, because I often talk about putting people in an environment where they feel like they can flourish.
Yes.
You said it a little bit differently. Was not intimidated by your swag, your shine, your brilliance, your intelligence.
Yes.
Give me the positive outcomes that comes along with that.
Well, I fly.
No.
So because of that, I did not feel as if I had to protect somebody's ego.
Yeah.
Dr. Frederick and I could argue about something, about a direction that we felt a decision needed to go in. The provost would be present. We have, solid discourse about something. And when we all walked out of that room, you would not know there was any dissent.
Absolutely. I think for the culture, I'll say that's something I feel, it's my opinion and my show, even though I understand my facts are not feelings. I mean, my feelings are not facts. I believe that the culture really struggles with that.
Yeah.
Because we grow up thinking if I got beef, we got beef.
Yes.
So if we disagree, it's beef.
I know.
And how did you get to a place to overcome that? Or did you always have it in you? Because I think we struggle with that.
So
culturally.
I think I am very happy that I was a college president prior to coming to Howard.
Okay.
Because that has given me a level of executive discipline.
Yeah.
But Howard has also taught me how to operate during a crisis.
Yeah.
When people get anxious during crises,
Yeah.
my blood pressure actually
Slows down.
Because, and I don't know if there may be some parts of it that's innate, others that are learned,
Yeah.
or maybe you go through a few crises,
Yeah.
maybe one too many.
It starts to slow down for you.
You know?
Like, here we go again.
So my response time has certainly picked up.
Yeah.
Because I want to nip things in the bud.
Yep.
I don't want it to become a level 10 crisis.
Absolutely.
I give a level 10 response to a level 3 crisis
No
so
doubt.
that it doesn't escalate.
Absolutely.
But during that time, I've also learned how to operate with a good team.
Absolutely. So, can we get some water, please, for Dr.
It's right
Dubroy? So, talk to me about being in that position and the executive level presence and what that actually means. I know what it means. And I know what it means because I don't have much of it. I'm working on my best self.
Yep.
And I think you see me in some of those working on my best self moments. But
Yes.
What exactly does that mean? Talk to me about what that means.
So, a couple of things. In my position, I deal with so many crises that you have to learn to differentiate when something is a crisis or not a crisis.
For sure.
Because your emergency is not my emergency.
That's right. That's what my dad used to say.
You can think that something is exceptionally urgent, but I can help to reframe it so that you can understand we are running an enterprise.
That's right.
And while I'm going to be attentive to you, it doesn't have to be a crisis situation if you temper your emotions. And that's learned over time.
No doubt.
And as an executive, I also have to choose my words wisely to prevent an organization from being in a very anxious environment. And that's also learned.
For sure.
So I've had to interject. Because members of my team want to say, listen, the sky is falling.
No doubt.
Everything's going to fall apart,
no doubt.
Right? And I get it. But there's a way to say this situation is critical without saying the sky's falling.
That's where I need coaching because I'm like, can you stop fucking crying? It's not that bad. Like, cut it out. My bad. Okay, go ahead.
And their emotional sensitivities.
No doubt. That's what it is.
Work through.
I'm gonna write that down. Emotional sensitivity.
I've been pastor.
Yeah.
I've been friend.
Yeah.
I've been sister.
Yeah.
I have seen people go through tough times at home,
For sure.
and I've had to be a pillar of strength even when I'm going through my own stuff.
Absolutely. We have a saying that the only thing that works all the time is a leader, because we have to be so many different things to so many different people.
Exactly.
So many different times.
And but I think some people have a natural affinity for people. That's me. I love people. If I wasn't a chemist, I'd be a psychologist, to be honest with you, because I love human emotion. And I love to motivate. And so at the end of the day, yes, I deal with a lot of systems. But I often remind my team that we are catering to
No
people.
doubt. Absolutely. So I started expediting change because I believe fundamentally, again, for the culture, we do a lot of activism without necessarily having advocacy and that engineering brain. How do we move forward faster, and how do we measure it through KPIs, key performance indicators? Like, how do we know we're getting better? So I started the podcast similar to what you talked about, because I could just get on here and say whatever I wanted to say. And if people liked it, they liked it. If they didn't, they didn't. But my point was to challenge individuals to expedite change now. So what are you doing for the community to expedite change?
So the latest thing that I'm doing.
She said the late. Hold on, I do a lot. I do a lot, Shamari, but the latest thing.
Well, I mean, it's innate in my position.
No doubt. Absolutely.
And I'm doing it for 13,800 students.
Absolutely.
3,000 faculty and staff.
No doubt. Look at you spitting off exact numbers.
And we get to also do it for our community. So in terms of change, I get to see that every day. Improvements that are made on our campus every single day. Sometimes slow, sometimes fast. One of my passion projects, in addition to Howard, is I am helping to rebuild a community in Atlantic Beach,
Nice.
South Carolina.
Nice.
It's a historically Black-owned beach,
Nice.
and it's nestled within the heart of North Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, in the 70s in particular, it was thriving
Mm-hmm.
because previously all the beaches were segregated,
Yeah.
and we were given a smaller portion
Of course.
where our people could get together.
Yeah.
Many of our musicians and luminaries that you know today
Yeah.
could not stay in Myrtle Beach
Yeah.
after they performed for their audiences.
Absolutely.
They had to sleep in Atlantic Beach, and
Yeah.
they would come over and have concerts there and
Yeah.
everything. But when desegregation occurred, now everybody could go wherever they wanted to.
Yeah.
And the investment that and economic activity that was
Mhm.
present started to erode. So now we're looking to rebuild it.
Yeah.
It's still an independent city, and I've built a home down there along with a few investors,
Nice.
and we are saying, let's protect the shoreline.
Nice.
Let's do sustainability initiatives.
Nice.
Let's do invest in the economy.
That's right.
Each home we build generates a certain amount of tax revenue
Absolutely.
for the county, and it is beautiful to observe.
Absolutely.
When I go to Atlantic Beach, South Carolina, I feel as if it's my little piece of peace.
No doubt.
Right?
Love that.
And it's my piece of paradise.
Love it.
It is a beautiful community
Yeah.
that extends well beyond the land,
Mm-hmm.
but also extends to the people.
Fire. So wait, you just sold. So I need to buy some land down there.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go. Let's get
Absolutely. So we are looking for people to invest, but people who care about preservation
For sure.
of Atlantic
it.
Beach.
For sure.
Can I go and get investors from all over
Yeah.
the nation? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do I want everybody's money? No.
No, all money ain't good money.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I want to know that there's passion behind the dollar,
Absolutely.
and that every dollar we spend, we will be true to community and true to traditions. And even though we will evolve, there are still some traditions that we want to hold true.
Passion behind the dollar. Capitalism is where we are, but when you have conversations like all money ain't good money,
That's
and you
right.
say passion behind the dollar,
Yes.
this has been an amazing conversation, Dr. Dubroy. I sincerely appreciate you.
Thank
are
you
the
for having
absolute
me.
Best. Listen, I typically do my wrap ups, but I don't even know how I could wrap this up. Like, it was great. Like, I want to wrap it up, but I also want to personally talk about what I learned. And the biggest takeaway for me is that executive level presence and that executive level leadership, because individuals are looking at you and what you do and how you perform. So if you're not putting them in an environment where they can flourish, well, then you're going to get the opposite of what you're looking for. But I also want to touch on, you hear a lot on social media right now. It's like, oh, forget that, build your own table. You got to have your own table. Dr. Dubroy says she sat at somebody else's table for a while she was building her own table.
That's right.
So don't be quick to ignore somebody else's table when you can come in and learn something from them. So you have your 9 to 5 at their table, but keep building your table at that 5 to 9. And then you make that transition and that exit when you make that transition and exit, not when they tell you you have to make that transition and exit. This has been Expediting Change at CBC Live. I didn't look too far to the left or the right and get too distracted, but I appreciate all my listeners. I appreciate you pulling up, and I appreciate all the feedback. Make sure you follow us on YouTube at Expediting Change. It's been love. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for having me, Shamari.
Of course. Absolutely.
Good luck on your journey.
I don't know what journey that is, but I'm just sleepy all the time.
Oh my gosh.